Today we are talking about Genesis 13. So first, if you're new here, please click the subscribe button and subscribe to the channel. On this channel, we take real leadership lessons that come straight from the Bible in order to start leading ourselves. And that way we start leading ourselves. Now we can continue to lead others and our teams as well. I know I cut my last video pretty short if you checked it before, but my last stream a little bit short, but today is a lot more into this because I knew it sounded familiar. I actually went over Genesis 12 yesterday, so today I'm going over Genesis 13, right? So today in Genesis 13, we're talking about Abram and Lot, right? So we talked about how Abram went out of Egypt eventually, right? He was extremely rich too as well. When Abram, left Egypt, bro, he was balling. Um, he built he went to where he first built an altar. Lot went with him too as well. um the land wasn't able to support both of them. There was strife and everything like that too as well between the herdsmen of Abram's cattle and Lot. So there was a little bit of beefing in between the two of them too as well. um Abram didn't want none of this to happen, right? He's like, yo, come on, man, cut all this beefing out. Let's between our people. um and then they ended up, Lot ends up leaving. Uh, he's seen that, the Valley of Jordan was more watered, better for him and his team or whatever, his squad. So he chose to leave. Lot was like, yo, I'm dipping. I don't want our people pretty much getting into it with each other. And then Abraham ended up settling in the land of Canaan. Um, but then there were also the men of Sodom that were like wicked. They was, crazy as heck, which we're going to talk about Sodom and Gomorrah too as well. Um, now God, came to Abram too as well, started talking to him too as well. And yeah, so this is basically mostly about this chapter of Abram and Lot pretty much beefing, right? So we're gonna pull different parts from this, right? So first I'm gonna start with Genesis 13, chapter 5, right? It says, but Lot, who went with Abram, also had flocks and herds and tents, right? Prosperity reveals problems before it reveals blessings, right? Um, I know they love this saying. People love this saying of, if it's not broke, don't fix it. I absolutely completely agree with this to an degree, right? I agree with this to a degree. So for example, as you guys know, especially if you've been on my stream a lot, you know that, we all birds, baby. Go Birds, Eagle fan. The Eagles, we were winning. We were getting the job done. We still are getting the job done. We're still winning, deciding to win our games, right? But just because we're winning our games doesn't necessarily make it a good thing, because the way we're winning was so ugly, right? The offense wasn't involved. We're going whole halves without winning, and we know how bad it can turn into something, right? So that's the biggest thing, right? You want to make sure that even though everything is going well, even though things are going well, still have attention to detail. Now, don't be crazy with your teams, and don't be like, oh, you guys did this today, but why don't you do this, and be mad about it. But still be able to check yourself sometimes, that like everything is doing good, but you still need to make sure that everything is going according to the way that you want things to be done, because eventually certain things could lead to problems, right? Prosperity is going to actually reveal these problems, right? Us winning, it still revealed the problems of, like, yo, the passing game still wasn't the way it was. The running game still wasn't what it was. I think it had to do with the O-line injuries and maybe some coaching adjustments. But that's the idea, right? When your team and stuff like that, if your life is going great, don't stop. Remember, I told you, no motion is not good. No motion is going backwards. No movement means backwards movement, because the fact that you can only go forward or backwards. So prosperity actually reveals these problems. Fishy Flopper, hey, how you doing, man? Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Like this video. Ask me any questions. We're talking about Genesis 13 right now. Anybody who's here, and the leadership lessons that we take from it in order to lead ourselves, and then in turn start to lead others in our teams. Ali, what's up? What's up, gang? How you feeling today? Fishy Flopper, how's my day going, man? Hey, listen, I'm always great. Never had a bad day in my life, man. I appreciate you so much for asking me. How's your day going, man? It's January 1st, man. This is page 1 of chapter 1 of book, 2026 or whatever, right? So I'm excited. I'm ready. I know this year is going to have so much for me. And, a big thing about this year, and the big thing that I want to do, is me getting on stream every single day too as well, and getting these leadership lessons to you, continuing to give out God's word. That's what I just feel like, what I'm here for. So we're going to fast forward a little bit to Genesis 13:7. And he said, and there was strife and quarrel between the herdsmen of Abram's cattle and the herdsmen of Lot's cattle. Now the Canaanite and the Perizzite were living in the land at the same time, making grazing of the livestock difficult, right? So the Canaanite and Perizzite. As in 12:6, the point of this phrase is the land was already populated. Abram and Lot did not come into an empty region, but had to compete for land, their rapidly growing herds and flocks. So you got to actually, they had to make room. They had to make room for each other, right? They had to make room for each other because a lot of times, and it's crazy. So that's going to happen a lot, right? As you continue to grow and become a better version of yourself, right? Your light is going to start to shine brighter. And then sometimes it's going to start to take up a lot of space for other people. And they're going to start to feel uncomfortable because your light is so bright. Don't let them feel uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Let them feel uncomfortable. You got to just continue to be yourself, right? You got to continue to be yourself. Fishy floppers, 12 a.m. where you live. Dang, bro, where you tuning in from? You definitely should stay up, man, and be able to consume some of this content from the Bible, in my personal opinion. Brandon is being weird. That's okay. K Foster is 6 a.m. where I'm at. Where are you tuning in from, my guy? Make sure you continue to get this. And fish for the UK. Dang, bro, never been out there. How's the food out there, bro? Let me know. If you are new, I'm seeing a lot of people joining this. If you're new to this, tuning in, please subscribe to this channel, like this video. We take Bible lessons. We're going over Genesis 13. We're taking Bible lessons we're learning from Genesis 13, leadership lessons, in order to apply to ourselves and start leading our lives, and then in turn lead others in our team, right? So now we're going to go back down, right? So in Genesis 13:8, right? It says, so Abraham said to Lot, please let there be no strife and disagreement between you and me, nor between your herdsmen and my herdsmen, because we are relatives. Peace over position. A lot of times in life, you got to pick your battles, right? You got to pick your battles, bro. I have a friend that I know, right? And I know that the type of person he is, he continues to, like, you can't joke with him about certain things because of the way he is, right? Now, I'm not saying I should be able to just walk on eggshells because of this, but I choose peace over it, right? I know that he's going to feel some type of way if I make some type of joke about him. So I know who I can joke with and who not to joke with, right? That's just me. Now, I also know that we may not be able to, he may not be able to grow in certain situations, or we may not be able to grow our friendship because of the fact that I know that he can't take constructive criticism. So that's what I just choose. I choose my peace, the peace over position. Now, there is times you have to choose the position over the peace, right? And I have a team member on my team right before, and there was a guy on my team. He was not a good team member. He was not he just thought he knew everything. He just kept trying to, do whatever he wanted to freestyle. He didn't want to be a team player. And I tried to choose peace over position, man. I tried to talk to him, tried to work with him for months. He just still wasn't getting it. And as a leader that's not being able to be in all my locations at once, I had to decide to pick someone that I trusted over someone just because I wanted to keep the peace, right? Because I'm a quote unquote nice guy, right? No. This year is about being a more excellent way, moving in that more excellent way. And I'm moving with God, and whoever's in the way, man, you just gonna have to get out the way. That's just how it is, right? So yes, peace over position, right, a lot of times. Now we fast forward to 13:12, right? So Abram settled in the land of Canaan, and Lot settled in the cities of the valley and camped as far as Sodom, lived there. See, Lot chooses being right. Abram chooses faith. Let me ask you this, man. How many times have you tried to choose being right, choosing the fleshly self, right? The fleshly self over being actually the faith, right? Choosing the faith. Yo, let me tell you this, man. Bro, I'm not gonna lie. So, going into, what was it, in 2025, right? A lot of times, I like to try to hang out with my friends, right? Try to be with my friend group. They like to go out and stuff like that. And I know that that's something that I loved to do too as well, man. I loved to, go out too as well with my friends. It's fun. It's fun. I ain't gonna lie. Going out, going to parties, stuff like that. Like those are fun. I'm not gonna say they're not fun. Those things are fun. And me doing it, a lot of times my wife will always tell me like, no, that's not a good idea, right? Like that's not a good idea to do. She kept trying to tell me, but I always wanted to choose to be right. I always want to be like, oh, but this, that, and the third, or this, that, and the third, and this, that, and the third. And I noticed one thing. For one, she's right. He was right. But two, also as well on that, I was losing money in that situations. I was putting myself in, situations I didn't want to, shouldn't be in, didn't even want to be in. It's like you're almost there just to please other people because you're scared to tell other people no. I just wanted to be right, but my faith knew that I was supposed to be in there. So God, chose to put me in position where now it's like not saying I don't have the choice to do those things, but now I'm not in those things now, those situations. And I'm actually happier now that I'm not in them. I'm saving more money. Marriage is way better. I'm way more into the Bible. I'm not gonna lie. I could get. I'm gonna get in more shape too as well. But I'm in shape too as well. Doing better at basketball, business looking better. I can actually pay more attention to my stores at work. Like everything started to go better because I decided to stop fighting the mission that God put me on. Right? Stop trying to be right, bro. Stop trying to be right. Stop trying to lean into your own understanding, only lead into the understanding of the Most High or the Lord, right? Or Jesus Christ. So choose your faith. Abraham chose faith, bro, and look how Abraham turned out, bro. I mean, he was a liar. He keeps lying. We're gonna talk about that too as well. But he chose faith, and even though he was a liar, God continues to still bless him because he's choosing faith over actually being correct or being right. All right. So next, we're going to fast forward a little bit to Genesis 14, right? The Lord said to Abram after Lot had left them, now lift up your eyes and look from the place where you are standing, northward and southward and eastward and westward. All right. So boom, again, separation for elevation, bro. Oh my gosh. Again, we were just talking about, I told you with my friends, it was like, bro, I started to separate myself. And as I started to separate myself, like we stopped having things in common in a way. But it was like I started to elevate now. I still love these guys from a distance, still that my friends still love me from a distance, but they understand that I'm on a different path, bro. I'm on a different journey, bro. I want to be great. I will be great. The things that I'm praying for, the things that I want in life, God is going to bless me with these things, but I had to separate myself in order to get these things. You understand? To become a leader, to start leading myself. You had to move to your own tune. And now you got people coming up and saying, yo, bro, I'm trying to get like you. I'm trying to get like you. It's because they don't see the hard work that you put in. They didn't see the times you separate yourself. You stopped going to the parties. You stopped drinking as much. You stopped traveling as much. They didn't see all that. So they didn't see you put your head down. They didn't see the nights that, you're crying over here trying to figure out, oh, how can I be better? How can I be better? The times you're sitting here game planning, the times where, bro, I wanted to be taking a nap right now, bro. I only slept like 5 hours after New Year's. I went to church, but me and my wife ended up going out too as well. But, slept 5 hours, still woke up, went to work, still at work, still making training videos, still changing the mindset of my team, coming into, the house, taking a little quick nap, getting back up and starting to do my streaming. They don't see all these things, right? They only see the results of these things. So sometimes you do, and not sometimes, a lot of you have to separate yourself to elevate. That's why a lot of times people move away in order to, like you don't have to literally move away. The stuff is actually there, but you have to be able to separate yourself. This is just a physical, you moving away is actually a physical thing of what already happening, in the mind. All right. So separation for elevation. All right. So, what it talks about, right? This section forms part of the set of text that set the stage for Abrahamic covenant. The section builds on 12:1-3:7, the passage in which God first gave his great promise to Abram. So this is all setting up from when God gives his great promise to Abram. Now, the last verse on here, verse 18 says, then Abram broke camp and moved his tent and came and settled by the grove of the great Terebinth's oak tree of Mamre, the Amorite, which are in Hebron, and there he built an altar to honor the Lord. Abram builds an altar, not argument. All right. So instead of going back and forth again with God after, trying to still choose peace over position, getting on arguing with Lot. He decided, yo, I'm building an altar now. I'm going to decide to bless God and let him lead the way. Again, stop leaning into your own understanding, bro. Life has been great. Life has been amazing. Life has been beautiful. This is page 1 of chapter 1 this year. Especially when my goal is stream 365 days every single day. This is just the beginning, but the only way I'm able to do this is not because of my own understanding. The way that I'm gonna be able to do this is not because I'm just super disciplined. Yes, faith without works is dead, but I have the faith too as well. Just working without faith is also dead too, right? And that's what Abram understood early on was, even after the argument with Lot, I have to be able to pray, get myself together, put God into it too as well. So that's really all I had today, man. Genesis 13, bro. Those leadership lessons, man. Start applying those to your team today, bro. I'm thinking about some of the things I'm gonna apply to my team already, right? I already am applying to it because it's like, separating myself, elevation. I've been doing that already. Just so many things. Of course, to continue to honor God, continue to choose peace over the position, bro. So many different things, bro. So many different things. So many different ways I want to, do that. Now it is January, right? So January at our church, and, as Christian, is the Daniel fast, bro. I am prepared for this Daniel fast. I want you guys to comment below if you're prepared for the Daniel fast too as well. I got, a couple groceries, Instacarted. I know my wife's gonna get mad at that, but Instacarted to come over there. But I hope you participated. Now, I want you to remember this when you're doing your Daniel fast this year. For anybody that's doing a Daniel fast. So Daniel fast basically is you're being vegan for 3 weeks, okay? Completely vegan, all right? Now, if you just do the fast without prayer, it's only diet. Okay, I want you to understand that. If you do the fast without the prayer, it is only a diet. So we're gonna definitely continue to do some praying. If you want some ideas for your Daniel fast, what to eat, those different things, I'm gonna be showing a little of those things on my stream. Like I said, I'm going 365 days straight, bro, streaming. That's what this year is about. Being great, being amazing. I want you guys to keep tuning into my life as I'm going. I want you to keep learning leadership lessons from the Bible too as well to apply to your team. But that's really all I have for you guys, man. Thank you for tuning in again. Tune in tomorrow for Genesis chapter 14. Keep killing the day. Remember, winners win, losers lose, and you pray for success like this. 2.0 out. I'll talk to you guys.